Please come to order. Thank you.
Yeah, let me get you a chair.
I was just gonna start.
Yeah, come right here, sit down.
No, it's fine. We're gonna have about this.
Yeah, I'll grab the folder chair.
And you're not calling up there.
Yeah, right.
What do we got? What do we got?
We got a chair coming.
Oh, thank you. Right. Okay.
I think we're okay.
Okay, if you, take a few minutes, look at the minutes, if there's any corrections or additions. And in the meantime, I'll, do a quick roll call here to make sure we've got a quorum. And some of these I've got, some conflicts, quorum, some don't, but I've got them on my list here, so I'm gonna call them anyway. Daniel from Platinum, I see he's here.
He's here.
He's here somewhere.
No, he's here.
George Franklin,
I'm here.
okay, Al Goodman, Al Plotnick, Mike Draper,
Here.
Maureen Devier, Gene Personero, Dennis Burrow,
Here.
David Boaz, and we've got somebody from PBSO, we'll put him down there.
John Newcomb. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll put it up there. And I'm here, okay, put it off to Joanne. Robinson, Bob Rivera. Tricia Caputo,
Here.
Bob Stowe,
Here.
Stuart Richland,
Everybody sign?
Dominic, Ed Grossman. Okay, so we've got our committee, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have enough for quorum. Okay, now if we can get the report from
What
PBSO,
does she sign?
Yes, sir.
your turn.
My name's John Newcomb. I'm the detective sergeant here in the North End, and I'm filling in for Lieutenant Monath and Captain Valenzuela. Start with the traffic report. I heard people talking about that. For the month of January, we had a total of 49 traffic stops and the issuance of 83 citations, 33 written warnings, and 2 verbal warnings, and a total of 2 accidents for the 28-day cycle in that, and 5 hit and runs.
5 hit and runs?
In here?
5 hit and runs.
In here?
Yes, sir.
Oh, wow.
Some of those were initially came out as a hit and run.
Yeah.
And it involved maybe a little bit of dementia, or somebody wasn't really realizing,
Oh, okay.
you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't an overt,
Oh, okay.
bad crash and then fled the scene. It was more of a, just wasn't even aware they had bumped or much of that.
Okay.
But altogether, it was a very productive month. I mean, much of our traffic enforcement is for the purpose of bringing out about a behavioral change.
Mhm.
And in a lot of these instances, a citation was given, which that really helps with a behavioral change when that happens. Some of these were written warnings, which again, sometimes just a good conversation and enlightening somebody to something. And if they're repeat offenders, the traffic guys are gonna double down on that and come back with more citations. But altogether, it was pretty productive. Activity wise, the report for the month, 274 calls for service. And of those, only 50 required case numbers where there was an actual report necessary to document something. Much of those were either civil matters or welfare checks coming in conjunction with fire rescue and whatnot. There has been, and there still continues to be, a good amount of embezzlement and fraud. And in those cases that I'm seeing, because our bureau will work a lot of those, I have one individual that's dedicated to those. People are being asked to pay certain fines or make payment in some way where they purchase a gift card and then give the individual on the other end of that line the gift card numbers. And there's just no way to go after that and track that down afterwards. So we're trying to really just enlighten people to the fact, if anybody's asking them for a gift card to make payment for something, that's a huge flag. There's a problem.
Yeah.
And a lot of these frauds involve that, and these people are not, most of the incidents of fraud that we're seeing in here is not local. It's not somebody local trying to defraud them. It's all over the world, all over the world. It's coming back overseas. We're working with Interpol to try to get warrants, and that's like pulling teeth. So it's very difficult. So a lot of these cases are either unsolvable, or even if we could solve them, they're not prosecutable because they're outside of a jurisdiction, and Europe doesn't care. Europe does not care at this point. So we're kind of pushing hard on the education side to help people out and get them going. My financial guy's putting together a pamphlet, something we can maybe can be passed out or available in the community for those that are interested. If you see friends that are, being duped. Hope that's gonna.
I almost got scammed. I called Best Buy's Meat Squad, and they gave me exactly the same form. And all of a sudden, the guy's talking to me and telling me, he said, "Oh, I need your credit card." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because I need to get into your account to get the credit cards." I said, "Have a good day." Just like that.
We had one the other day, a guy calls up, a young lady calls up, and she's sobbing and in tears, and she addresses the person on the other end as grandpa. There's a slim chance the person's gonna go, "That's my granddaughter, she's upset, what's going on?" She says, I got in trouble, I screwed up, please, I need your help. I'm gonna have the attorney talk to you. She hands the phone to some dude, and he explains how she did something criminal in nature or something. Her bond is X amount. We need you to give me a gift card, do this, go get this amount and send it here.
You don't do it in gift cards.
Yeah.
Anytime anyone says, give me a gift card, all right, if it's not, if
Red
it's
flag.
not a child of yours or a grandchild who you know personally, know their voice, and they're asking for, a gift card, whatever. But if it's somebody else saying, "Oh, you just send a gift card and we'll do this for you," and blah, blah. Anytime the word gift card comes out,
Red flag.
that should, it's not a flag,
Yeah, right.
it's automatic no.
Well,
Yeah.
my
Hang on.
mother just took this call. Thankfully, she thought to call me, but they gave her a lawyer's name, a case number and a phone number, and they was gonna be calling her and, and she couldn't even tell me which one of my sons it was. But, she's going through something and I'm very easy target.
We're hoping with the proper education and putting that information out there of how they're defrauding people, that it will become less frequent. But it's all, and you receive a text on your phone that your account's been compromised. Please respond.
Right.
Click a link. I mean, it's just craziness. There's so many ways. I'm constantly asking my wife, is this legit? Is this really
Yeah,
American
I do.
Express? Where is it? She's like, that doesn't happen that way.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
I had an Apple phone, I had an Apple account. I had 3 different text messages. Your Apple ID account has been locked. Please open this up and resubmit and to open it.
Yeah.
So I deleted the first one, then a week later got another one, then I got another one. So this past week I went to AT&T and I showed him the text message because I never opened it anyway. He said, "Nope, those are all scams."
Yeah.
And you did the right thing.
Yeah.
So no
So-
matter what it is, just delete it or whatever.
Yeah, delete it. Get it off your phone. Don't even
That's right.
open it. If it's not somebody that I know
Right, me too.
and you're a stranger. So
Exactly.
you're dead to me. I'm
That's right.
Let everybody know.
And just cases of interest that occurred during that month, there was a stolen vehicle, but it turned out to be more of a civil matter. It was somebody's girlfriend who didn't remember it. May possibly loaned it over to. I know there was a disturbance where a board member was spit at. Over in Chatham C. There was an assault over by Camden where somebody was walking their dog. But there were some inconsistencies in statements on both sides, I think.
Yeah.
So it was just not something that they could proceed forward
Let
with.
me guess, they were complaining about somebody's dog.
Yes.
On their lawn.
Yes.
If they pick it up, what difference does it make? That's what I say.
Somebody vandalized, or there's a missing door jamb in Chatham G.
Maybe.
Maybe.
It could have fallen off, right?
Yeah. And then there were 2 incidents of fraud, but we already talked about the fraud that's going on. But That is the report for January.
Well, one of the important things with that report is for your fraud, anytime somebody mentions a gift card, it's just an automatic no.
Well, this one instance was up to up to $12,000.
Right.
In a pop.
I got a question. I got a question,
Yes, sir.
which I was thinking of, because I've got a couple of those calls for a gift card.
Mhm.
A gift card that you have that's expired or used up, give them that number,
Oh, yeah, waste their time.
waste their time.
If you get the time to find something to
I don't
mess with them,
Mine are all thrown out.
yeah. Tell them that.
Okay, just a question, the 89 citations plus the
83.
warnings,
Yes.
you know, in how many days this happens of service? Is it
It was-
1 day, 3 days? Because then if it's just in 1 day, that's a lot.
No, it was strewn throughout the month. They weren't in here all 28 days, but during that 28-day period, they periodically came in and worked a little bit during peak times.
Yeah, that's good.
And yeah, so it wasn't all in one day. That would be a
No,
lot
just to
of
get the
work.
volume of things, the volume.
I think it wasn't necessarily that they were looking for volume, but the consistency or maybe the inconsistency of coming at different times, but showing up enough that it gives the impression of you don't know when they're gonna be
No, as long
there.
as it's spread, that's.
Yeah,
It's okay, it's not so.
Sergeant, over the past week, there's been increased enforcement at my request because we had several incidents.
Mhm.
So quite a few of them have been given out in the past week.
That's good.
One of the warnings was to me. They eat. I took heed. I did it. Slow roll, I did it.
There's a lot of people that are going on like next door and stuff, and they're complaining about
Yeah,
getting multiple tickets.
$200
And,
tickets.
and I'm sitting there
Yeah.
reading these and I'm going, well, if you're dumb enough to go speeding and keep speeding,
Get the
good for you.
tickets, you get the tickets.
you know?
We're trying to get the speed down. We've had, how many accidents? 5 last
Yes, sir.
And I've been
report?
big advocate of speed.
Couple of injuries, one got a broken leg, sent to the hospital.
Yeah, broke femur.
Bicycle rider got struck and if the people in here need to pay attention,
That's right.
take heed. And I don't know what the fines are for the speeding, but they should increase them and make them where it gets their attention. Because it's not that hard, just lift your foot up just a little bit, slow down. And the well-being of the residents is kind of what we're concerned with.
Set your
Our
cruise
security.
for 25.
And if the people living here don't show you enough respect to obey the rules, so then we just have to penalize them, but we'll start showing respect. I mean, you gotta get their attention some way. We're not allowed to slap them, so hit them in the pocket.
Cattle project.
Set your cruise control for 25 miles an hour.
Okay, if we can move along now, let's get our report from Daniel for the UCO security report.
Thank you.
This month, the month of January, the rovers responded to 219 calls detailed in the report. The gatehouses confiscated 23 expired passes and 9 resident passes. 8 of the passes were guests attempting to use for entry, and the other one was a photocopy pass being used at the gatehouse. Can't photocopy or loan or pass it to anyone.
States it right on the back of your ID card.
You guys have been collecting a lot of those papers, which means a lot of people are trying to get in here that don't belong. And
Yes.
that's why there's so much trouble.
That's another issue we've been having is all the snowbirds are down here. As we all know, the guests are coming, but they don't have the addresses and they don't know how to spell the residence name. We need full addresses at the gatehouse, or at least know the spelling of the person you're coming to see. Because we can't help you if we don't have the information to run into the computer. 14,000 residents in here, we're not gonna know each and every single one of them. And a lot of the guests have been either running over the cones to get on property, or they'll just park their car and say, well, I'm not going anywhere. So it becomes a battle, and then at the end of the day, it becomes the guard was rude. So to avoid agitation on both sides, let's just have the correct information, the full address or the resident's name. Everything else is in the report.
Ridiculous.
I have a question.
Thank you.
These people they're using somebody else's pass. What happens with it?
It's confiscated at the gatehouse. We give them a slip that's provided to us by WPRF. It gets taken over to the clubhouse and it goes over the meter.
Well, I'm talking about what happens to the individual? Do we get their name and who this person is? that
Well, you
uses
have
it?
it from the past.
Well, the piece of paper instructs them where they can go to the main clubhouse, so I see them first. If it's just an expired pass, I'll initial that I've seen it because it's a guest, and I'll file that away, but if it's a resident pass, I send it back down to the ID office. And in order for them to get it back, they have to sign a form that they understand that what they did was wrong, and that they will not do it again, and that they could forfeit their card if they continue to do that, and they have to sign it.
Okay, well, that's against it. I'm talking the person that's using it. That's basically a fraud in itself. Is there?
I can do something with the resident. I can't do anything with the guest.
She can't.
Okay. This is what I was wondering about, because every month there's several of them that are using somebody else's pass.
Yes.
Yeah,
Quite a
but if it
bit.
happens again, she'll confiscate their pass.
Yeah, I know, but
So-
but you can confiscate their pass, but by law, you can't prevent them from coming into their property anyway.
I have to say, I don't have a lot of repeat offenders.
Well, I agree, you know, there needs to be something done about it to curtail it.
No, but once they sign that piece of paper stating that they did wrong, they know that they did wrong, they will not do it again, or we'll take away the
Makes them
card.
nervous.
Right. So I don't get a lot of repeat offenders.
And if you do, what happens?
Somebody around in a mask.
I pull them in and tell them, next one, I'll hold on to your card, you will not get it. So I haven't had to go that far.
That's the question, that's on the.
Just,
You pull their card, then what happens?
Well, she told you.
How can they get in how can they get in the gate?
They, utility bill with their name on it
They
and the
have to show
address,
the deed of this.
driver's license. They can
So
keep anybody out.
basically that stops them from buying tickets and stuff like that.
Right.
Riding the bus.
As far as the entry gates are concerned, the Century Village ID card is a convenience for the person, not have to pull out their license or anything else, but we can't bar people from the gate for not having a Century Village ID.
Mhm.
Their driver's license has a Century Village address. If they have a deed or a lease that shows that they belong there, we have to let them in.
You know, and then if I don't give them back their card and we suspend, then that means they don't get the use of their barcode either. If they have a barcode, that goes along with the suspension, so they lose both. And then they have the inconvenience of having to wait in line to come in through the gate. A lot of people do not like that.
okay, thank you. Part of that question with this does get recorded and goes out, and just so other people get the information not to do it. You know, because I'm saying, well, I didn't know.
Well, that's why we make them sign it, because now they can't say, I didn't know.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go, Steve, you got a report for WPRF.
Yes, for the month of January, we had 86 ID violations. 39 of them were non-resident or guests. Confiscated 8 expired IDs. And if you notice, our traffic violations have gone up due to bigger crowds. 61 traffic violations, and the majority of them are reverse parking. About 45 of them. We still have a problem with wrong way driving, even though you see 2. One of my cameras are not picking up. So we're in the process of getting that corrected. And then you'll see more wrong way driving on my reports.
It's a free for all in that parking lot. Worst thing we ever did was take out those parking bumpers because they just
They just run right over them.
all over the place, snow, and then they'll even squeeze in between two cars. So you're driving along, there's a car that's stationary and all of a sudden this car is just shooting out right in front of you. It's ridiculous.
Where are they going in such a hurry?
And they park so close to the line, you can't park yourself because then you're sticking out. Because they're over the line, they don't know they are.
The other thing is without the bumper, usually the bumper, once their tires touch the bumper, they know they're in the spot.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't even tell you 2 to 3 feet, sometimes they're out of the spot.
Yeah, then you can't park in front of them because you're 2 or 3 feet out.
Crazy.
I just want to let you know that we have one of the electric cars here. We took delivery of it, so we don't have any badging or anything on it yet, which says we're gonna get yet, but I just wanted to bring it anyway, just to. It was fun. I drove it up here to things a rocket ship, so that makes me nervous. Talking about speeding and everything.
You got enough juice to get back, because I don't think we have.
Well, that's, yeah, so unfortunately I have enough. I just thought I should tell you guys that, just so you're.
Okay.
Row has an update from the last meeting she was here.
Yeah, the last meeting I came to talk about, supporting our employees and,
Very good.
we have adopted our Employee of the Month program and recognition program, if anybody follows Platinum on LinkedIn. Last week I was here, saw Daniel and gave out some gift cards to the 2 women at the gate. And we also finally got our 401k going, so that'll be implemented soon, so it was, it was a difficult process because, they try to charge you for all these things and you're trying to create a benefit for employees. So we actually have it through our payroll company, which is ADP, which makes it easier. So everyone will get a message to log in and join the 401k. It's a great opportunity for security officers to start learning to save money. So.
Might improve the retention rate a little bit.
Yes, sir. Certainly will.
Very nice.
Okay, Al, you got a report for a COP?
We're growing. One of our little members sitting here, Louise Salazar. I just got a message the other day. There's another new member starting training.
Good.
And I have got the approval for the event that's going to be on the island. Put a table up there for recruitment. And so we're growing.
Good.
I'm happy to serve. I'm happy to serve the sheriff's office. And I feel more since I'm a yoga instructor, but besides that, I wanted to help my community, especially Century Village, and want to learn all the things that are happening here in the village and see if I can help. And also I'm taking classes, the police academy classes in the District 6 Jog Road. There is a police sheriff's office.
What she's talking about is they call it a police academy.
Yes.
Which I have not been through, but it's a teaching facility for mainly the new people. And if any of the department people want to sign up for it. And it's like law enforcement and what the volunteers can do and what they can't do.
Like training for COP.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mainly they're there for observation, they're not for enforcement or
It's a citizen observer patrol.
report.
What I was taught, and I tell my people as they coming up, we're observers. If you see something, make note of it up here and get out of the way and then call it in. Don't put yourself in any sort of danger. Let the professionals come in and let them do their job.
And on that note, when anybody has a problem, that they should call PBSO first rather than our security, because our security don't have any teeth as far as being able to subdue anybody or prevent them from doing anything. And you call them, say if you call security rather than PBSO, that gives more time for whatever the incident is to progress and less time for them to respond to the incident. So the quicker we can get PBSO here to handle the situation, the better off we are. All right, moving on. We got under old business. Anybody got any old business? I've got written on here flock safety. I don't know who's in charge of that.
No, I think that's an artifact from the previous meeting,
right,
but there's
it is.
nothing to report.
It is,
Nothing to report. Okay,
it's working great.
it's new business. Donald, do you have any new business?
No. You heard that we're getting 2 new electric cars, which
Yeah, I think they just said they brought one up.
yeah, so it's outside. What I'm working on now is fast tracking the charging stations for these vehicles. These vehicles have the potential to save us quite a bit of money in fuel costs. So we should see a good result by the end of the year.
Good news.
I'm just calculating what's the difference in the electric bill versus the gas bill.
Not as much as it used to be, and we're expecting what, a 20% increase either in the next 2 years?
Yes, I think that's what Monica said.
Yeah.
Write it down.
Yeah, so not as much as it used to be, but it's not just the savings from between electric and gas, but there's also the time of having, think of how many hours Daniel spends a week getting his cars fueled. No more, they spend the property. So it's savings in a number of different ways. So I think it's a good idea. Glad to see it.
Anybody else under new business?
Over there.
Over there, where over there?
Over there.
Oh, okay, Daniel.
Okay, the lady first.
Okay, I observed, a couple days ago, I'm sure security knows, because they were getting them back out, where they damaged, where these trucks come in and they have to get them out. It was a double, really big piece. And thank God they were there to try to get them out, but is there a flashing light or something you could say no trucks beyond this point? Because it's like the second time within the last few weeks. And is there anything you could do when they do come in? Because once they get to that gate, these guys are, you can't back them out because you got all these cars, so they gotta let them come in. They gotta make them turn around, and that's what they have to do. But if there's something to prevent them from going through all that, because they could still cause damage.
Actually, that's a good suggestion, given the damage we just sustained.
Signs or flags.
Let me see what I can find as far as a sign. Fortunately, where do you put the sign? But anything that's my property, probably too late. They're already in the slot, so we'll take a look. That's a good suggestion. Thank you.
Yeah, because once they get in, there's nothing they can really.
Exactly. So we turn them around.
And
And usually the turnarounds work pretty smooth. Daniel's guys do a good job with that, but this guy made a boo-boo. He's an inexperienced driver.
Okay, Bob, you got some?
Yeah, we're talking about signs, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, go ahead.
I think that we should have, do you ever see these stop signs with the lights around it? I think there's a couple spots in this village, which is where you come in the gates and the first right turn you gotta make. Or the second right, where the stop signs are.
Yeah.
They should be lighted. Cause obviously people aren't seeing the stop signs.
That's because they don't want to see.
They just don't stop, they see them.
You know what, if you light it up, you got more of a reason to say, hey, here's your ticket, no questions asked.
Daniel, do you have something?
I just put it in the form of question of the contract of the security again. on the last paragraph of the security contract with Platinum, it says there that if we go with another company, all the people that now work now, we have to pay a fine of $3,000 to the Platinum for having them on our, who would sign such a thing? Do you understand the question? Why would we sign?
The guy's gonna answer.
I can answer that, yeah. So I appreciate your concern with that. The problem is, all that is a fine if, like you say, we don't want Platinum anymore, but we want to keep all your people.
Yes, or the people want to stay with the new ones.
Well, right,
It's more like it.
understood, right? So we've obviously hired them, we've processed them, we've trained them, we've done a lot. And it's sort of our way of saying that, well, if you want to fire us, why do you want to fire us, but then keep our employees? And so, yeah, we put that in net standard, actually. There isn't a single security company
Yeah, right.
that.
Because I don't know how many employers you had already simply did it. Several, we never paid any fund for anything.
Well, there's no reason that you would have to unless. you
It's in the contract. We have to pay for each one.
If you terminated us, yeah.
As long as you know that if we keep the same thing, it can come up to a lot of thousands. Okay,
I
that's
think,
one thing.
I think what he was saying was, they have to pay to train those people. We don't pay for their training, they pay for it.
Yes.
So we
So
keep
3,000.
so if we keep their people and run them off, then we should reimburse them.
I
for
have
the
a
liability.
license, it's not even 300, it's okay, I know.
Well, that's neither here nor there. That's-
40 years ago, guys.
Get out of here.
This is a contractual question.
Right.
Dan, our attorney has advised us that that clause is standard to the industry.
Okay. It was a form of a question. Now, on the, I have two insurance comments on this one. On the first heading of the description of the contract, I just asked to add another sentence. Because it, according to my professional idea, it's not covering exactly what we need. And I did send it to you, and I can send it again if you can tell me
There's
which
no,
lawyer.
Mr. Gladstone, there's no need. Your suggestions were sent to our professional security chair, and she has your suggestions.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
Okay, if that's the case, then I have another question, but if you say that they have it, okay, that's good.
Good.
Okay.
All right.
Moving on.
No, there's someone else.
One over there.
I'm wondering about the stop signs, and I don't know if can the village get any federal grants for public safety? Back in the town that I came from, we had solar lights that flash with the stop signs, and do we have any grant writers here, and can we get any grants rather than?
You said the magic word, man, grant writer, which none of us are. Do these grants exist? I have no doubt they do. We are not a municipal entity, right?
Okay.
We're a private entity, typically that we would not be, but don't hold me to that. If you happen to be a grant writer or no one, please, we've been begging for years to have someone go and see if they can find money for us. Okay?
And I have a second question about the flock. The flock is up, the flock is running. Do we get any?
Yes, the answer is yes.
Do we get any members reports like we do from Platinum and from Palm Beach?
Yes, but not as granular as we would like for reasons of security. We do see whenever law enforcement makes an inquiry, we do see when there is a hit. We don't get to see where they're going or what happened after that. You do get a generic crime report at the end of each month, which we assume is in there, but we do see the activity. It is working, but there's limits to how much we get to see what the police are up to. But they are using our system both passively and actively, which is nothing but good news.
Well, and I have a law enforcement background, so I get everything that you're saying, but as someone that's paying for the service, I would like to have a little bit more of a, yes, this is the report and this is what's working about it, other than it's up, it's working, it's good.
No, it's not for.
I mean, I certainly can give you, on request, I can send you, it's a record of the corporation, and you're entitled to see that. It'll show you exactly what I just showed you. So if you want to see it, I'm happy to send it to you. All right?
Are you sure you can do it for the license plates and people and what's going
It
on?
does, none of that is in the report.
Oh, okay.
So yes, I am
Oh,
quite sure.
Okay, yeah. You said the key. Okay.
Is there anything else? Questions? Not that I've got any answers, but maybe somebody.
Well, you might.
I might.
Okay.
All right, now let's see, good of the order, anything good of the order? Okay, moving right along, read it right along, the adjournment is next on the list.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All right, we're adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I just need the rubber stamp.